talk to you now about tariffs. These are not a new thing that President Trump invented. They've been around since there have been governments. As a country, tariffs officially started with the Tariff Act of 1789 and was the first major act by the new government since the Constitution. It served two purposes: to generate money for the fledgling government and to protect industries just springing up here. The current trade dispute with the U.S. and China began with the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930. This increased tariffs on goods to an effective rate of 19.8% until 1934 with the Reciprocal Tariff Act. It wasn't raised by much, but other countries balked at the idea of an increase in tariffs imposed on their exports. They retaliated by raising tariffs on goods imported from America, some of which remains to this day. After World War II, to make amends for having committed this sin of asking for more money, the United States signed the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. Later, in 1995, this changed to the World Trade Organization that we know today. In that agreement, the U.S. lowered its tariffs on all countries to 5%. Of course, other countries had no such compunction and chose to keep theirs higher. The American Tariff League study of 1951 compared the duty rates of 43 countries. Only 7 countries had tariffs lower than ours. The UK, in comparison, had a whopping 25% tariff on U.S. goods. The overall average of all 43 countries was 14.4%. Keep in mind, this all started because the U.S. dared to impose a 19.8% tariff. It should be noted that President Trump was 5 years old at this time, so we can hardly blame him for the increase. Tariffs are a way for governments to protect their own domestic industries and to generate wealth. Before President Trump took office, the United States had some of the lowest tariffs in the world. China, on the other hand, was among the highest, imposing upwards of 35% on some goods, as well as allowing piracy of movies and games, and demanding that U.S. companies turn over R&D and patents. There are many, many barriers that China has set up in order to block goods and services coming from America. President Trump is only doing what has been needed to be done for a long time. And keep in mind, he is not the first president to impose high tariffs on China. In 2009, newly elected President Obama imposed a 35% tariff on China after it was found that they were dumping cheap tires into our market. American tire companies could not compete with tires produced below their manufacturing cost, and so President Obama acted. The current trade deal with China cannot continue as it is. It has caused a massive trade deficit that is unsustainable while giving China a very large trade surplus. If they can't operate as a country without those high tariffs and barriers, then maybe they should rethink their political model. If you liked that video, hit like and then subscribe for more conservative content. The US and China may charge for their services, but we will never charge you for your comments. And if you disagree with anything that has been stated here, go ahead and tell me about it. After all, this is still a free country.